Hey YouTube, I am going to be talking to the hopeless romantics today. If you haven't gone to any of my lives or attended any of my live streams on YouTube, comment the word newbie and drop your city and state. If you would like a quick shout out, I will give you a shout out. If you have been around for at least one live stream before, comment OG and you can still let me know where you're watching from. It's always nice to see where everybody is joining us from. I have asked my dear friends on Instagram to join me here on YouTube where they take care of content creators, but some of them might be sticking around on Instagram. We'll see if they come on through. But if you have joined me from Instagram, comment IG so I can thank you personally for making the trip over from one platform to the other. All right, so we're going to be talking about uh, tips that I said I was going to give you a tip for hopeless romantics, but I want to give you the inspiration for this. So there was an interview with a woman who was expressing how she had like this whirlwind romance. It lasted 6 months, and I thought it would make a really good teaching point. Okay, so quick shout out. I'm going to be a woman of my word. Shauna came from, oh, hey, Shauna. She came from Instagram. Thank you so much. Gigi came over from Instagram. JT came from Instagram and is a newbie from West Michigan. Very nice. Hello, newbie. We got Lynette. She's an OG. I don't have to read it. She's an OG. She's from Little Rock, Arkansas. Nice to see you, hun. Let's see. We got Wander Style Life. I don't even think I pronounced that correct. We'll just say Wander. She's from IG. Akila, I see her all the time. She's an OG from DC. Oh, and Giovanni is from IG. Hey, girly. Oh, Lisbon, Portugal. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So those of you who are still on Instagram, please consider coming over to YouTube or buying a badge if you decide to stay. But let's get into it. So this is a video that I just saw as I was scrolling through. Y'all, these platforms be doing what they're doing because I'd be on there and look up and where's the time gone? But anyway, there was this video and the woman was saying how she met a guy. The host on that page interviews people and then sometimes people connect. So she said she connected with a guy who saw her, I guess, on one of the interviews, and they had, my words, a whirlwind romance because she said we dated. It was fabulous. We dated for 6 months. And then she said, I don't know why, but you know, he ended things or whatever. She thinks that maybe he wasn't ready to continue dating because of his recent divorce or whatever. She was speculating, okay? So this is where I'm coming from. Hey, Akir, she said, quick job from Instagram. Glad you didn't pull any muscles. Thank you for coming. Hey, Nicole, thank you for coming from IG. And so this was what stood out to me. And in case she watches it, okay, unless you guys know which show I'm talking about, because y'all be on it. This is not directed at her, but it's meant to be a teaching moment. So when she was talking and she was talking about him, she was just gushing, you know, she was clutching her chest and she was so excited and just saying how what a great guy he was and all that. Now, disclaimer, as somebody who does content and, you know, has had people post like 15-second clips, it can be so frustrating if somebody sees a small clip and thinks that they know the totality of your life or even what you were talking about. So I'm giving that huge disclaimer that I don't pretend to know everything. And I saw that she had commented from in the post that he had done things like flew her out. I think he might have said flew her out of the country or something to that nature. So again, this is not directed at her directly. Don't know her life. Just saw a short clip. I think it was like 3 minutes long. And I thought it was a good teaching point. Okay, that makes sense. All right, guys, no judgment here. Thank you so much to everyone who came from Instagram to YouTube. Go ahead and join me on my YouTube page, Chasing Yonci, and you can engage with me in the comments. All right, so this was what stood out to me, is that 6 months had gone by, and she was describing in the video how she gave him this fabulous birthday gift. She flew him out to, we'll just say another state. She flew him out to another state. She was wearing lingerie, which means, of course, they were definitely intimate at this point. And she, I'm assuming, you know, paid for the festivities there, okay? Because it's not cheap, the city she sent him to. And of course, paid for herself. And she said leading up to the birthday, she sent him a gift every single week leading up to that. Okay, so if they only made it for 6 months and she's doing it for a couple weeks beforehand, now we're talking like this is only 5 months in or maybe 4 months in. Okay, so I listened to what it was to see if she was going to say why he was such a good guy. And at the very end, she mentions he had a great career. Oh, he was so handsome, in shape. So she listed these attributes about the guy. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about is that if you are a hopeless romantic, by the way, thank you for the likes, those of you who came in and hit that like button. It really helps YouTube know that this is stuff that you are enjoying, and it pushes the content out for more people to see. So thank you so much. I always say I could care less about the likes. But YouTube, that's the way you communicate with YouTube to say, hey, we like this content creator, and push your stuff out. Okay. Show it to more people. So thank you for the likes. But what I want to say is it's so easy when we are women looking to get married, right? So maybe we've done everything right. We went to school, we don't have debt, and we started a career. And maybe you're one of those women who say, I didn't even have kids, I'm ready to go. So you have this list of what you want in a guy. I want him to be tall, at least taller than me. I prefer him to look this way. I want him to have this type of swag. I'd like him to have this kind of income. I want him to have this mindset. It is absolutely great that you know what you want in a guy. It is great that you can describe this man to the T. But what I need you to understand as a hopeless romantic is all of that stuff on paper. And again, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, okay? It doesn't matter if he hits every single, list item on your list if his heart doesn't beat for you, okay? So if you see this guy has all of these things, that should just be something in stride, like, cool, cool. If things progress, he's somebody that fits the bill. He's not somebody who is outside of my deal breakers. He has the things that I'm looking for. I'm attracted to. That's great. That's just one part of the equation. And what happens, and this is probably going to sound weird to guys who are watching this because this is not how your mind works, but for hopeless romantics, and the reason why I know this is because I'm a reformed hopeless romantic. We will take that fantasy that we have in our head and put ourselves futuristically into that fantasy. So this guy who has the great job and the great career and the great beard that connects. Sorry, y'all, my alarm is going off and I didn't realize. So hopefully connects for you guys on Instagram. Okay. Well, we put ourselves into that fantasy, and part of being feminine, part of not being feminine, but part of feminine energy is being able to create. You are able to see something that is not there. You can see a house that is, pretty jacked up, and you can fantasize and imagine what it would look like with a brand new coat of paint, tearing down that one wall, adding this here, adding this there. You can imagine turning it into a home. So it's a good thing, a good quality in and of itself to be able to see something that's not there. But when it comes to dating, you have to remember that it's not there yet. He is not your man. He is, and even if he's saying this is, you're my lady, you still need to see how he is moving towards you. So many times women will talk about things that happen, and as I'm asking questions, there were no indicators that he was super, super into her. A lot of times the woman would just roll out the red carpet for the guy, so to speak, not even saying like this woman where she's paying for things and things like that, but making yourself just so available. The best metaphor I can give you would be, imagine a hunter going out because he loves to hunt, and the deer shows up and is literally wearing a t-shirt with a target symbol on it. And it's like, I'm right here. I'm gonna hold real steady. You lined up. You got a little tripod for your gun. I don't know what terms are or whatever, but it would be like, wait, what's happening here? I came out here I wanted to hunt. I wanted to choose the deer. I wanted to get it because of my skill. This reminds me of my guy. He loves to fish. And I remember seeing a video, and it was somebody who had devised this basket. It was some kind of a device. And you put it in the water, and seconds later, the basket was just full of fish. It caught them in the net. And so I thought, oh, that would be kind of cool because he tries so hard to get fish. And so clearly I'm not a fisherman if I thought that was a good idea. But he was like, ew, that would take the total fun out of it. Now, because I'm not a fisherman and I'm certainly not a man with, 80% masculine energy, I don't understand that. To me, I am all about like getting things done productively. And he loves to sit out there. He would sit out there for hours and hours, even if he didn't catch anything. Of course, he'd be a little bummed he didn't catch anything, but it's the experience for him. And this feeling of being able to brag to his friends, brag to his family, I caught a whatever pounder, and take the pictures. And even if he throws it back, or being able to bring it home and cook it and make dinner with it, there is this satisfaction that a man gets when he went out and was able to achieve something by his own strength or by his own endeavors or his own wit or his own whatever. I just did a post today, a part two, for the post that I did about being intimate right away with the guy. Um, Guys know whether or not they've earned a woman. Guys know whether or not they did what they were supposed to do. And when things are off, it sets off alarm bells. It would be almost like you walking outside and seeing $100 bill. You wouldn't just grab it right away. You would kind of look around like, is this a trap? What's going on? If there is a drop dead beautiful woman and she is just really, really trying to give it to him, right? First date, he's going to go, this is too easy. What's the problem? And that's not because he's not interested in being intimate. It's there's a psychological aspect to it. He's going, this I didn't do that much. I'm not that attractive. This woman could get any guy she wants, have men eating out of her hands, and she's kind of pressed for me. It does something to a guy psychologically. So he's going to proceed with caution, and he's probably going to put her in a different category than he would have put her in. Getting back to the hopeless romantic part, I want you to recognize when you meet a guy and realize if you are excited about the fantasy, what this would look like. Okay, he is wealthy, so what would our life be like? What would our life be like with kids? He's so handsome. Ooh, what would it be like if I was next to him and taking pictures with him? Or he's so funny. What would it be like if we were married? You're thinking about what it could be and not what it is right now. And that's how you get lost in the sauce, not in the good way. I recommend to the women that I work with to force themselves to write on the calendar the date 90 days from today. So let's say today is the 6th of February. You would look at your calendar, you would go out 9 months. So that would be what? March, April, almost May. 3 months sounds like nothing, right? If you were to say, oh, I'm so in love. How long has it been? 3 months, right? That sounds crazy. But when you're in it, 3 months feels like forever. So if you do this little exercise, a small little exercise, you will actually laugh when you get to that month if things don't pan out, right? So let's say you're in February, you mark this date down in May, and that's been 90 days. You might have not been talking to this person for 2 months at that point, or it might have been 6 weeks out and he absolutely showed himself to be a total weirdo or whatever. And then you're going to look on the calendar, 10 weeks of getting to know Scott. Just say Scott. You would probably laugh at that point because you're like, oh my God. But back then I was so excited because all I saw was tall guy, beard connects, subject verb agreement, got his side teeth, loves the Lord, doesn't have kids. You just got so excited in his potential. So I'm not saying don't allow yourself to be excited, but pace yourself. Ava says, I do that now. 93 days is my goal. I love that. Shout out to you, Mr. Greenard. Nice to see you, sir. And take notes. Take notes. If you cannot explain to someone else outside of yourself why this person is so great, that's a problem. And again, it shouldn't just be that he's great, period. Generally, he should be great to you. So what has this man done for you? What is making him a great guy for you? I had a situation where yesterday my internet was super glitchy and my guy knew about this. He knew I was really struggling and I was really frustrated just trying to do the live stream. And, I want to give you guys the information. You guys were enjoying it. I couldn't. The internet wouldn't let me be great. And so he knew I had a presentation later that night. And so he said, babe, don't you think that you should probably try to go somewhere else where there's a better there's a better signal because your presentation is too important for you to be stressed out and all this stuff. And I was being lazy, just being perfectly honest. I was like, let's just hope and pray that everything works and that my internet is good by the time tonight rolls around. And so he didn't insist, but he just put it out there. And the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Being lazy isn't worth my people missing out on a great experience. I don't want to be frustrated. And so he brought his truck and loaded up everything. I still have my YouTube lights sitting on the floor. I haven't even put it back up. He had an extra monitor that I could connect to my laptop. He got all the cords and drove 20 minutes to my friend's house, pushed me to really ask my friend, can I come over and use your internet? She was like, fine. At first I was like, I'm gonna really bug her by asking her this. He's like, just ask her. That's what friends are for. She's like, girl, it's fine. I'll be home from work by then and I'll be heading to the gym. You have the whole house to yourself. Why did I say all this story? Because these are examples that I pull from to go, this person is adding value to my life. This person is showing that they are invested in me. It's not all about what I can do for him. He is doing things that inconvenience himself for my benefit. So when you are writing things down and going, what is it that makes this person great? Remember what is making them great for me? What is making them an asset to my life? How is he, affecting me? And I want to give this little piece because my content is geared specifically, I like to say, to me of yesterday, little Yonci, I wish I had known back then. But there are women out there who are the extreme opposite. And I want to say that is not for them. Okay. This content is not for the women who see a guy and go, oh, that's a meal ticket. Oh, he could pay my bills. Oh, he's got it. So that's not the client. This is not the person I'm talking about. Okay. This is for the woman who tends to overextend herself when it comes to a guy and not require anything from a man. So this is a very specific person I'm speaking to. If you tend to just, run and get as much as you can from a guy, don't take this advice. You are beyond, selfish enough. Okay. These are for the women who aren't selfish enough. Or focus, I should say, on yourself, because you don't have to be selfish, but you should be focused on yourself. And the same thing goes for guys. My content isn't for men, but if you have a situation where you're always putting yourself out and she's never inconveniencing herself, or you're always considering her and she never considers you, or anytime there's a compromise, you're having to take the L, that's not a healthy situation. I do have male clients and I would advise them the same way. So this is not saying women should always have the upper hand. This is, again, women who tend to just get lost in the sauce and get all excited because this guy looks great on paper. By the way, guys, if you are on Instagram, do me a huge favor and slide on over to YouTube. Oh, you guys can actually see my light. It's still sitting here. Come on over to YouTube because YouTube takes care of content creators. I am reading the comments from YouTube. And also, if you want to stay here on Instagram, you could buy a badge. That'd be great. And then you can just stay right here on Instagram. But I'm just having this up so that you can mosey on over. And those of you who came to YouTube, thank you so much. If you could smash that like button, we're almost at half. So if you're enjoying this, if you don't enjoy it, don't hit the like button. But if you're enjoying it, hit the like button and let YouTube know that you are enjoying it, and it will push out to more people. Okay. So come on over because I want to see your comments, and I don't want to keep looking back and forth. So come on over to YouTube. Just go to Chasing Yonci and you'll see it pop up right away. Thank you. One person hit that like button. If you're on a cell phone, you might not be able to see the like button. Close out of the chat box. Then you'll be able to click the button and then pop right back in the chat box. Okay. Akir says, just past 90 days and voice boundaries because our real personalities are coming out. I love that. Nothing like gentle, patient, and positive thinking man. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Berkeley, for switching. Thank you. Yeah, let me know if you came from IG. You see everyone's comments saying, IG, I came from IG. Thank you. Maybe one day Instagram will take care of content creators that way. But yeah, so I want you to remember that. You are important. You are valuable. And everything should not be you trying to please the man. He should also try to be pleasing you. And also, the more a man pursues you, thank you, Betty. The more a man pursues you, the more he values you. This is an example of, how this works. Let's say you have a kid and you hand them $100 and say, hey, kid, go have fun. Versus the kid is having to cut lawns, mow grass, for the summer or a whole month. Which $100, it's still $100, which one do you think the kid's going to value more? The $100 that you just shoved in his hand as he walked out the door, or the 100 that he had to earn in 10, 15, whatever? Thank you, Akir. She got a super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Which one do you think the child's going to value more, right? The same thing is with men. If they have to work to get you, they value you more. And when they consider tricking it off, the term my guy uses, they're going to remember, I had to work hard to get this woman, and she gave me a shot. I don't want to risk this. Versus if something just falls into your lap, you don't value it more. Okay. So take notes, see what it is that he's doing, actually pay attention to see if he's pursuing you. And this is something that I see a lot with my coaching clients. If a guy starts to falter in giving consistent time and energy, naturally the woman wants to take a step forward. So imagine this is like a dance, and he steps forward, and so you step forward, but then he doesn't step forward. You might be tempted to step forward, which would be taking the lead. But this is the natural way for you to see if he's falling off. Because if you followed my content for a while, you know that, yeah, he said it's true, but he said that's sad but true, even though it's not intentional all the time. Most of the stuff is happening at a subconscious level. So thank you for saying that, David. That's absolutely subconscious level, which is why sometimes guys will try to argue with me on certain things, but I'm like, behavior shows otherwise. Okay. But getting back to my point, you might be tempted if a man is not calling as much or texting as much. Oh, I'm going to text a little bit more. I'm going to call a little bit more. But the reality is, most guys don't take any pleasure in hurting a woman's feelings. And so they're not going to say, you know what, I kind of saw what I needed to see, and this ain't it. They're not going to give you an exit interview and be like, hey, so and so, we were kind of getting to know each other, but this isn't the vibe for me. Or I just met someone last night and she's amazing and she totally has my attention right now. Because that has happened. Someone could intentionally be trying to get to know one woman. Someone else could come along and just blow his socks off. And it's not like he's cheating, because you're not in a relationship yet. You're all just getting to know each other, and you should assume everyone's, open, free agent to get to know people. So when this happens, instead of trying to double down and figure out why he's not calling, this is where you gotta just chill out. Okay. And I hope one of my clients doesn't mind me sharing this story, because I think I'll be vague enough that it's, keeps her privacy. But she had someone giving her attention at the beginning. Things looked great. I even said, oh, I'm billing this guy for you. Hey guys, we got half the number of likes as we do views. So if you can hit that like button, I'd appreciate it so much. He was doing the things, and then as the weeks went by, it seemed like a lot of it was just talk. We weren't seeing a lot of action. And so, I had encouraged her, continue to meet people. Someone, like, don't turn away somebody who is trying to get to know you if, you're not married. So she allowed someone else to come on into her world and start to get to know her. This second guy blew the first guy out of the water. But if she had been so stuck, which was kind of starting to go that direction a little bit, I'm not going to lie. If she had been so stuck on the fantasy of this guy is, he's better than the ones I've seen in the past, and he's got this going on, and he came out the gate so strong, and she just really stuck to that and just got so caught up in that, she would have cut herself off for this opportunity. And I want to add this point. I am not a fan of dating people just to date. I am not a fan of self-soothing at someone else's expense. Meaning, if a guy is doing everything he's supposed to be doing, he is not blowing his opportunity with you, I would not just be greedy and just take on more. Now, if organically you just end up talking to somebody passing, whatever. But I'm saying I wouldn't be going out swiping on people on apps and things like that. I'd say figure out what's happening with this person, because that's what you would want them to do for you, until it ends, or you feel like you're not getting what you need there, and then you can move on from it. Okay, so I want to give that disclaimer. But this is what dating should look like. Too many times women are holding on for dear life to a guy who's just kind of eh. And the reason why they get so confused is because the guys don't leave their lives 100%. They do not cold turkey stop talking to them. They do not cold turkey stop texting them. They might even still, call every now and then and ask them to hang out. That's what gets confusing to these women. So they're like, Yonci, but if he's not interested, why is he doing this? Honey, you're focusing on the wrong things. Mr. Berkeley, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm glad that this thing is highlighted bright yellow, because I'm going to answer this question in just a second. And if I go more than 5 minutes and don't answer, just remind me, because that means I ding dong forgot. Okay. Yay, the likes are up. Thank you guys. So when a guy starts to fall back, stop taking it personally, even though technically it is kind of personal because if he was really into you, then he would stick around. But the thing is, this is just how dating works. And just like you have had guys that you've met who weren't crazy, bad, mean, you just didn't feel the vibe. And it would be super cringy if they were like, I need answers. Why have you not been responding to my text? Why don't you want to go out with me again? It's just awkward. So we need to get, you know, we need to become okay with people just kind of coming and going at the beginning stages. Now, if he's, you're 8 months in, you're in a committed relationship, then yes, okay, I could see if you need a little bit of closure and you want to ask questions or check and make sure if the person's okay. But if you just barely started to get to know someone on a dating app or you haven't even made it to the first date, we got to chill with these expectations. Is it making sense what I'm saying, guys? Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? If you're still watching on Instagram, please consider coming to YouTube where they take care of content creators. Just type in Chasing Yonci on YouTube and bloop, the live will pop right up. Okay? It was easy, right, guys? It was easy to find me on YouTube. Okay, so David's question, he said, what is the best way to tell a woman gently, I've seen all I need to see and this isn't it? I will give you my actual phrase that I used. I guess it's fine because I'm in retirement and hung up my dating jersey. This is the phrase that I said. Hey, so and so, it has really been great getting to know you. Unfortunately, I don't feel the type of chemistry I would need and you deserve to be able to sustain a romantic relationship. Now I speak that way in real life. So if that's not how you speak, don't use me verbatim. Okay. They're like, that's the Yahtzee line. But you can put it into your words. So basically what it is if you talk about a feeling, that is not something that could be argued. Versus if you say, our schedules don't align or this or that, then the person can counter. People subconsciously like want to convince you and they'll try to counter. So you want to make it a non-counterable statement. So the statement that I said was, hey, you can give them a compliment. Hey, so and so, it's been great getting to know you. You've got great energy or you're a beautiful woman or whatever you want to say. But I don't feel the type of chemistry that would be required to sustain a romantic relationship, or I don't feel the type of chemistry that I would need to be able to continue pursuing you the way that you deserve to be pursued. She can't argue with you not feeling chemistry. So, oh, thank you so much, Rosalind. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. And it's just keeping it a buck. And I found that the more we face our fears head on, like the fears that it's going to be cringy, that we're going to hurt the person, it actually helps them more. Um, I hope he doesn't care if I say this, but I actually turned my guy down when I first met him. And I remember my throat was all dry. I was pacing in the kitchen and I was like, I just think maybe we'd be better as friends. And I even told him, I said, this is going to sound crazy because I hate when people say, let's be friends. Why don't we be friends with someone I dated? But I was like, I really think maybe we came into each other's lives just to be friends because there were certain things that I thought maybe we weren't compatible on. And so he ended up saying, he said, basically, is the window 100% closed? Is there any percent chance that there's still an opening for a romantic, in your mind, a romantic relationship? And I was like, I mean, in my head, I'm going, there was like 1%. So he said, say less, say less. And the rest, of course, is history. But we bonded and he actually respected me that much more from having a frank conversation. And I said, hey, these were my concerns. 1, 2, 3. He said, that's actually something that I have been focusing on specifically. So I think this is actually confirmation. And if I'm able to tackle this, are you okay? And I was like, okay. So you just never know how things could adjust. And if the person maybe wants to get more information and they're genuinely asking and they're not just going to fall apart because some people, they can't take criticism, but that might be an opportunity to help grow. It might be an opportunity for you to help that person grow. I know when I had people start talking to me way early on, every now and then I got an opportunity to ask the person like, hey, what was it? And sometimes it had nothing to do with me. And sometimes it was things that I was doing that was off-putting. So, proceed with caution. But can you imagine a world where once that person realized they weren't really into you, they let you know so you could just move on? That's the part that builds resentment, is the not knowing or the obligatory, responses. And it's just awkward. Um, and so I remember, so when I was on a dating app, you're swiping, he's swiping, you're swiping, he's swiping. And so you have all these little connections that are starting even as at the most basic level. And there would be the little banter going back and forth. And so, hey, how are you doing? Just the real small talk. But what would inevitably happen is there would be a connection that would have grown. Like, now we've exchanged numbers, now we've talked to the phone, or maybe we met in person. And so what I would do to the people who were like consistently reaching out to me, I would, I was like taking the dog out back if it's injured and shoot him, put him down. I would message them and say, you know what? You have been amazing. I am not going to lie. Someone has got my full attention right now, and I want to give them my undivided attention and see where this could go. Now, if it fizzles out and it's nothing, if it's cool with you, I circle back, or, maybe whatever. And sometimes they would say that. Well, if it usually, because I was like, I don't think I would ever say circle back, but usually the guys would be like, shoot, if it doesn't work out, hit me up. I'm here. I had one guy who was just too in his feelings, and he was like, I don't want to be second choice, but bruh, I met him first. So I couldn't have chosen me first. But I just feel like that's the grown way to handle that situation, because this is what drives me nuts, and I call it skewed data. You might think that there are tons of people who are flaky and inconsistent and all this stuff, but the reality is they might be giving all of that good energy to someone else. But because they're not saying, hey, Lisa, you seem like a great girl. I haven't even had a chance to explore, what this could be, but this chick has my full attention, then you would not take it personally, and you would be able to focus your attention elsewhere. And then if it doesn't work out with him and Lisa, or whoever the other person is in this made up story, when he comes back to talk to you, now you're getting his full attention, because at some point someone is always usually talking to somebody, and there's always a front runner. Okay, comment front runner if you agree. There's always a front runner. I jokingly say to my girls, there's always that person that if you're on the phone, you click over for, or if God forbid your phone's in the other room, you're like running and hurdling the couch to get to, because you got that special ringtone. Okay, or is it just me? When you like a person, you give them a special ringtone. If I'm gonna run over here to get the phone, I want to know. There's always a front runner. Okay, so I just think that we have to stop looking at people we date like things, like commodities, like something, a tool to be used. We have to look at them as people. This is a person who has feelings, who is putting in the energy, or what have you. Okay. I got 12 of you left on Instagram. If you could come over to YouTube, that would be awesome. 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 I'm reading the comments on YouTube, and YouTube takes care of content creators in the way of ads. So y'all don't have to even donate anything. They just take care of it. So if y'all 13 now would be willing to come over, that would be fabulous. But yeah, so getting back, kind of recapping what I was saying, women, we got to stop having these fantasies. We got to stop having these fantasies. We have to stop, giving people shots because of their potential and what it could be. What do you say? Some men will try for intimacy and see if the woman will give in. Yeah, that is very true. So kind of to recap, don't get excited. Oh, so that's the thing. He said, please save this IG live. This is going to be saved on YouTube. So you guys will be able to watch it, and it's easier. Just can fast forward, rewind, pause, whatever. So it will not be saved on Instagram. It will be shared on YouTube. And I like to do live streams just for my Patreon members too. They're called patrons. So if you guys are not a patron, please consider doing that, because it really, really helps me as a content creator. Okay, so don't get excited over the potential of a guy. Don't get excited, even if it's not potential, but in real life, he's a dope dude. Remember, he has to be a dope dude for you. He has to be willing to do things for you, show that he's interested in you, because the last thing you want to do is be in a relationship where the guy is kind of meh, meh energy. And this is the other thing that I meant to say, is that guys tend to not break up with women, or like I said, give an exit interview and be like, I'm not really into you. So what they will do is they will try to fade to black. And a lot of y'all will not let the dead die. So they will fade to black. They will stop hitting you up. They will stop calling you. And then what happens is the woman will reach out and be like, oh, hey, find excuses to reach out, things like that. And he's trying to back out. He's trying to back out. He's trying to back out. And then men who don't have a lot of integrity will know that they don't have an interest in a woman, romantically, but they want to keep her around for possible, fun times, if you know what I mean. And that's already something that he's kind of greased the wheel, and this could pay off later. So don't be that woman who the guy is showing you with his actions that you are not his dream girl. Don't just stick around. I mean, if enough women hear my content, my prayer is that enough women will hear my content, will have enough self-love to start to require more from men. Men are humans. And what are humans? Humans are lazy and self-centered. That is our sin nature. If the bar is here, that's where people are going to go. If the bar is here, that's where they're going to go. Nobody goes above and beyond. Nobody gets their taxes at 9% and goes, nah, I want to pay 11. Nobody does that, okay? Not because they're bad people. That's just how we are. So if you don't raise the bar, no man is going to. But then it collectively affects everyone, because then when there is a great girl who is worth the catch, these guys are like, oh my God, I have to do all this. I have to actually call her and talk to her. What? I have to actually marry her before I get some good loving? What? So the tips that I gave, don't get excited about a fantasy. Give yourself 90 days. 90 days that'll help you sober up. Okay, the love chemicals in your brain, I heard that it's like 3 months that you're like drunk on love chemicals. Is it oxytocin, dopamine, just all the stuff. When you first meet someone, it's like, oh, your brain's going crazy. So give yourself 90 days to get out of the love fog. Okay. Thank you so much. She said, Yonci preaching now. Thank you. Write down the date. So if you met him today, what is 90 days from now? And write that date down and put his name, or have a little code or a little cheat sheet, okay? You don't want him to see your calendar, but put a little cheat sheet in there, and allow a man to pursue you. You get so excited about, having a man in your life, especially if it's been dry, right? Especially if there hasn't been a guy around, you haven't been getting attention, and there's finally a guy who's showing a little bit of good signs, showing some good signs. And guys, would you come over to YouTube if you wouldn't mind? Come on over to YouTube. And so you want to get so excited, and you want to make this thing happen. But one, like I said, a man has to feel like he won you over. He has to feel like he earned you so that he can appreciate you. But two, you got to give him time to see if he even likes you. So when you have this fantasy, you meet the guy, and then in your mind, you're already like 3 years ahead. When he meets you, he's still on today. So all he's saying is, she's a dope chick so far. She's gorgeous. She seems cool so far. That's all he can go off of. And then day 2, he deals with day 2. And day 3, he deals with day 3. A man needs time to know if you are the person for him. And he might know it earlier than he might. Most times they know earlier than they tell you. Okay, so by the time he's actually told you, he's been knowing that he likes you like that. But we have to give him that process. We have to allow them that process to develop feelings. You cannot claim him because he asked you out to eat, and now in your mind you go together. Men commit when we don't want to lose her presence. Spot on. Thank you so much. Yeah, he has to value. He has to value you. If a guy felt like he could go out and live like a bachelor and you would still be loyal to him, he could have a really great girl. It would take a man who has really high integrity to not do those things. Meaning, if he could have his cake and eat it too, most guys would have a whole bakery. They'd be like, yes, this is the best life. But this is actually what some women are doing. So it all goes back to, as I teach in my program, shameless plug, the dating manual, it all goes back to you having self-love, you respecting yourself, because if you don't love yourself, no one is going to love you more than you do. So, as much as you are excited to have a man in your life, as much as you like having someone to cuddle with, as much as you love having a person to talk to and being able to post pictures, with, pajama pictures and Christmas and show off your Valentine, as much as you like that, you have to love yourself even more. Because the minute he shows you that he does not respect you, the minute he shows you that he doesn't have your back, the minute that he shows you that he is not loyal, you have to love yourself enough to say, I'm walking away. Have you guys heard of that trap? I don't even know if this is a real story. I've just heard this story, but there's this trap supposedly that they could put an apple inside of a cage, and monkeys will put their hand in the cage and grab the apple because they want to eat the apple, but they will literally, they're not even in the cage. They're out of the cage, but the cage is keeping them prisoner because they can't get their hand through the bars. Okay, like if they just let go of the apple, they'd be free and they could maybe find a real apple, not a real apple, but like a different apple that's not doesn't have strings attached. Um, that's kind of how it is when it comes to people who are not for you. You're over here grasping at this guy who doesn't make you feel secure. He doesn't make you feel safe. He doesn't make you feel like a priority. It feels like the thing is one-sided, but you're holding on because there's chemistry in your mind, or you haven't met someone like him in 8 months. So, you know what? At least there's bird in the hand, right? That's your logic. Telling you from my personal experience, I had somebody who I found very attractive, great conversation with, was long distance, and he was not progressing things the way I knew. Not even as a dating coach, just as a woman, I knew it didn't take that long to progress things. Like, you're going to want to meet in person, make sure the chemistry is the same as over the phone. He wasn't doing the things to progress, and he always had excuses, 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 excuses. And I'm not going to lie to you. I stand here as a dating coach. I had my own friends who I had to talk to and be like, look, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do this, right? I'm supposed to do. And it was tough. I'm not going to sit here and act like it was easy. I had to let go of my proverbial apple. I said, don't call me. Don't talk to me. I had a whole exit conversation. I said, look, not because you're not cool, but because I could tell we're not on the same page. And so I let go. And I think it was 2 weeks later, I met my guy. If that don't preach, okay, you think this is great, you have no idea what God has for you. You have no idea what God has for you. You're holding on to copper, and he has not silver, but gold and platinum for you. You're holding on to copper. And as somebody who has been in a long-term relationship with somebody who did not see me the way I saw them, there is no pain like that. You think loneliness hurts? There is no feeling like loneliness when their person is there. Having an expectation that you're going to get something and it's not there. If I'm single, I don't expect a Valentine. If I'm in a relationship, now I have expectations on February 14th, okay? If I'm single, I expect to be alone on my couch watching a movie. If I'm in a relationship, I'm expecting you to be snuggling up under me. Okay? You have expectations when you have a person. So don't be so anxious to have a person that you latch onto someone who doesn't feel you that way. I'm telling you, 43 years old, it took me to my 40s to experience what it feels like to be loved properly, to not feel any anxiousness of, is this person going to step out on me? Is this person going to leave me? Is this person going to do me dirty? It is the best feeling in the world. She's on snatching edges today. I'm telling you, I've been light with y'all. I've been nice to y'all lately, but I you got to keep it a butt. I don't know how much time I have on this earth, but I want my legacy to be one that women recognize who they are start loving on themselves, and refuse to settle for someone who does not love them. All this other stuff about, 6 figures and whatever, da, 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 that's great. But the ultimate settling is being with someone who does not genuinely rock with you. Y'all in the comments are funny. So I don't know if I've ever done this on YouTube. I always do it on Instagram. But if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask it now. I only got a little bit of water left, so we'll go until my water runs out because I be talking all the time. So my poor little voice. I love this. By the way, comment me if you have gone and attended one of my presentations. I rolled out a new program last year, like right around Black Friday. I rolled out a program called the Dating Manual, and my first group of girls is almost all the way through the class because it's multiple weeks. And my next group starts next Tuesday. Comment me if you've gone to the presentation already. It's really, really cool. It's like a hybrid of coaching and my online classes. If you haven't, because I don't see any knees. If you haven't, do yourself a favor and attend. It's free of charge. It's only 30 minutes. And the next one's going to be on Wednesday, the 7th. There are only 4. I think there are 4 seats left. There might be 4. No, I think there are 8 seats left. There are 8 seats left in the class. If you are struggling, like if you felt like this was helpful, we're going to be doing this weekly. We're going to be me and you. We're going to be talking like this. If you're one of the 8 people to get the last couple of spots, otherwise you are going to have to wait until the next enrollment comes out. Okay, so a couple of you guys have gone to the presentation. Make sure you have not come to. I forgot there's a delay, so there's a 2-minute delay. Now the me's are coming in. So if you haven't gone to the presentation, go to the Instagram and click the link in my story so that you can register, and then we'll do that. So she asked if I if I do different time zones. So Betty, there are I think 5 people who signed up, and I told them if I get enough people, then it'll be worth my time to do one earlier in the day, which would be nighttime for you guys. So make sure you register, and in the comment, there's a part where you can put a comment. Put on there that I'm in the UK, and put what your time zone is. So how she put MST, put your specific, your time zone, and I can see because everyone's pretty much like within an hour of each other. So I think you would be like number 6 on the list. So don't hold back if you're not in the US. I would be able to do one if, like I said, if there were at least 10 women signed up, I would do it for the UK people. So I will talk to my Instagram people, even though I want you guys to come to YouTube. The presentation is absolutely free. And in Cali time, it starts at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. So 5 p.m. Wednesday, Pacific Standard Time. And I just go over exactly what it looks like. I have people sometimes like, hey, can you just give me the information? Do you know how many followers I have? Like for me to have to go one by one and try to share the information. So thank you to everybody who came in last night. I think we had 21 women. It was really cool. And just, bonding and sharing. So if it's a good fit, this could be a game changer. I think 3 of the women who are in the program right now are now talking to guys, great guys, and things are progressing. So I love this stuff, you guys. I did this for free for years. Like I love. And the best thing is when my coaching clients come back and say, I'm still in a relationship. One of my girls, when I first started coaching, she hit me up and she and her guy are going to do a video for me. I've never had a couple do a testimonial, but she's going to share. She's about to move across the country. This guy that she met, a while back, and they've been rocking. He's all the way on the East Coast and she's in Cali, and they're still going strong. And it was just so cool. I got to be there at the very beginning, kind of like walk her through the steps. So it's kind of like their little joke now that, I was there at the beginning. So okay, MST is Mountain Standard. Yes, it would be 6 o'clock. So 5 o'clock, my brain went to Europe for some reason, but yes, Mountain Standard Time. So 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Central, 8 Eastern. I'll say it again. 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. And if you're overseas, Google is your friend. So Google Central Time Zone and say compare Central Time Zone to and put yours, and it will literally tell you what time it is. Okay. But I would like everybody who wants to be able to come on Wednesday. Wednesday is probably going to be one of the last 2 days that I present. So I'll probably present Wednesday and then the Monday right before class, the day before class, because it's a lot. It's a lot doing the presentations and doing my 2 classes. I'm doing 2 classes a week now. Any questions, guys? Any questions for me? And you guys, okay, can I share something with you? There has been this program or like idea that I've had for a long time, and I feel like you just put it out there in the universe. But I love working with couples. I think there are so many missed opportunities because of misunderstandings or what have you, and I get to see this in real time with my girls in my coaching group because we work together. But I think that there are so many opportunities where there's a misunderstanding. I have men who are like, "Where are the good ladies?" And then the ladies are like, "Where are the good guys?" So my dream is to be able to work with couples, and I'm considering working, pro bono with maybe 3 couples just to kind of figure out how this would work. But I would love to work with a brand new couple, even if you're just getting to know each other, um, to make sure that you guys have the best foundation to move forward. So it's kind of like usually people get into a relationship and then once they hit snags, they get counseling type of a thing. But I would like to be there at the beginning to help both the man and the woman get off to a great start, because I feel like there's so much toxic messaging around that if a woman is kind of following a program and a man is following a program and they're not just connecting from heart to heart, there's so many missed opportunities. And there are so many great guys that are still out there, so many great women who are still out there. So if there are any couples who would like to work with me, it would be virtually, but it'd be you and your lady or your guy, you and your guy, if you're a lady watching. I'm putting that into the universe. I would love to be able to do that. And then eventually, my big lofty plan is to be able to do it on a television show. Interestingly enough, I was approached by a couple of people, but because I wouldn't get I couldn't be, they couldn't use me. There's very strict rules with the Screen Actors Guild and all the stuff. Okay, I'll read into that. But I had some cool opportunities for people who are doing shows where I would have an opportunity to work with couples. But I always say there's a reason why things don't work out. But I want to work. I want to work. And also it's interesting to see from each person's perspective what it's like on either side. I'm telling y'all, if we could sit together and watch some of these dating shows, I would talk to my daughter, yelling at the screen, "Don't do that. Why did you do that? You just turned him off, or you came on too strong, or whatever." I think this would make for great teaching points for people. So, all right, y'all. I guess you don't have any questions um, for me here. So I think I'm going to wrap and get some work done. Lord knows I got a lot of content to write. I'll be trying to post something once a day, Monday through Friday. So it's not gonna write itself. Um, Thank you, David. Yeah, I thought maybe there would be another question besides yours, but so thank you again, David, for the super chat. That was very sweet of you. And again, thank you to Akir for that. I really appreciate that. All right, guys, if you missed the beginning of this live stream, I gave you tips on, if you're a hopeless romantic, I gave you tips on what you need to do when it comes to dating. And so go back and watch it on YouTube. I think it's just dating tips for hopeless romantics, but it's whatever is the last live stream. Okay. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Yonci, and I'm signing off.